Hey there, friendlies. How's up? Welcome to the Bevies, Blades, and Bushcraft live stream for the 8th of October. This is where we have bevies, we have blades, and we will likely talk about some bushcrafty stuff. Tonight's reading is from a magazine. It's from the Home on the Range story in Canada's History magazine. There's a small section of it that I thought might be interesting because we have spoken about tents and stuff like that in the past. So that's the only spoiler I'm going to give you until it's time for a Chitty McChat. Before we get to the show, I'd just like to do the usual housekeeping. That's the part where I say that if you're watching us time shifted to tomorrow or next week or next month or next year, thank you for your eyes. Thank you for the words that you sometimes leave in the doobly-doo below. Excuse me. I love knowing you're out there and you're watching even after the fact. If you love what's happening at any point tonight, I invite you to hit that smiley thumb. If at any point tonight you kind of hate what's going on, that's okay. The frowny thumb works just as well. And if you'd like to take a more active role in supporting the channel and keeping the lights on around here, then I invite you to check out the wherever the join button is this month. If you do a right click and open that in another tab, you can see the 2 tiers that are available for your hard-earned money, as well as what each tier gets you. Excuse me. And now, so what's been happening lately? I got 2 things. First, there's a very large project going on up north. Just give me a second here. Somebody pinged me, I think. Nobody pings me while I'm live streaming, people. I don't see anything, so I'm going to ignore it. I'm going to ignore it. No idea. There's a huge project going on up in the Northwest Territories to reforest huge swathes of land that were devastated by those huge fires that struck in 2023. It's sort of a team effort between Tree Canada and Let's Plant Trees and the local native government. Those 2 organizations specialize in, planting trees. Somebody's like pinging me and it's bugging my ass. I don't know. I don't see anything. I really am gonna ignore this. Where was I? So yeah, it's a team effort between the locals, Tree Canada, and Let's Plant Trees. The idea is to harvest cones from the living trees, organize them, go through it, extract the seeds, send the seeds down south to turn into saplings, which will then be brought back up north and replanted. They're doing all the usuals, right? Black spruce, tamarack, birch, aspen, white spruce, which is kind of hard to deal with because the cones are quite high up. And the belief is that this will also help bring the caribou back because, burn zones ain't great for caribou, apparently. So that's that. Sounds kind of interesting. I do like reading good news after wildfires sweep through and kick the crap out of everything. Second, and this is something I should have known about before, but I'm going to send out thanks to Tenenbaum for letting me know about this week. Survive Knives is gone. The company went insolvent at the end of August. Well, during August, but the gone was at the end of August. And they left some highly peeved customers who had laid money down on knives that they weren't going to get. And I'm kind of sorry to see them go. I was an early fan when they were still a new company. I thought they were doing really cool, really sort of robust knives. But of course, I never did buy the GS04 that I wanted so badly. So was I part of the problem? Maybe not. It sounds like there was management issues there. They're gone, and I'm sad about it. As always, the links for these stories are going to be in the show notes, and as usual, these are not sponsored ads or stories or anything. So before the reading, I'm just going to see who's kicking back with us, see who's hanging and being nice to each other and all that stuff. Looks like I'm pretty late on the chat, so I'm just going to scroll up to the top. Oh, my land, 8:57 was actually when I published the scheduled page. So Serge popping in like just as I created the page. Oh, okay. So Serge is eating, so no individual hellos. That's all right. And I have to look at the YouTube page to see if anyone is a channel hero or mod, because I believe that Serge, yes, Serge is a channel mod. So be polite, and he won't have to take you down. Nate Zoinks shooting and outdoors. Welcome to the stream. I hope you have a good evening kicking back with us. It's funny how, if I double click to update, no, it still doesn't work. Off Grid Recon also popping in. You guys were all in like at 8:57, it looks like. Nice to see you. We got Mr. Chris, Mr. Peanut Trucker, who is also a channel mod. So everybody please be nice. Serge says I had to be late for him to arrive first. Makes no sense otherwise. I believe you're being a Bratley mod tonight. Hold on a second. That's better. Oh, Grace was in briefly, and now she's not. Destiny says, let the reading begin, Jess. Just give me 1 second. Okay, so I moved the chat from the bottom up to the top over here, but I don't think it's any better. I don't know. I don't think that's any better. I still need to find a way to make it bigger. That's what my problem is. I'm just going to sort of scroll down to see if I can see who's here. There we got David Evans in the house, even in full kits. David is a channel mod and a channel hero. Grace is also a channel hero right now, which is nice. So Grace popped in and she's gone, but she'll be back later. Country Boy Trapped in the City is also, by the way, a channel mod and a channel hero. No, he's having some computer problems. Damn them computers. I'm just seeing who else is popping in with us. David is showing his age. Are you still using DOS? DOS is probably more stable than Windows was back in the day. So Country Boy has switched to using his phone. That's all right. Picture quality sucks. Don't know if that's due to the new platform or not. No, it should be fine. Looks all right on my computer. Hold on. I'm playing in 1080p on my computer. Click your settings and see what you're playing back in. I wish that the phone would allow us to @ people. I can't get it to work. I just type what I hope is their correct name. Like I do an @ and then I hope I'm typing their correct name and end up sort of going on faith. And, you know, it either works or it doesn't, I guess. Serge says, I had to reload because nothing was happening. That's what happens when I'm not late. Okay, so go back to being late, for God's sakes. We got Russell from Raspberry Rockin'. He hopes that everyone's having a splurific Tuesday. It might be an exhausting Tuesday. Russell always has to reload to get it to start, which is interesting. You know what else is interesting, actually? The color of people's names, like you see them popping up in the screen. The color of their names on the what the Streamlabs screen is like, they're this nice dark orange, but on the YouTube screen they look kind of like this gray and smaller. That's irritating. It's irritating. Okay. So Serge, you're on an Apple TV. Are you? You might be watching on a 4K screen, but I'm only broadcasting in 1080p, right? So on it's like a 4K monitor, like I'm using. Well, two 4K monitors because I'm class. It looks fine, but on an actual TV, yeah, I could see why it wouldn't look so great. Show off. Destiny is here. Hold on. She's saying hi to everyone. Christy's gonna be late tonight. She said she's gonna be about an hour late. Country boy got his computer back up. That's good. That's good. Hang in there, Scott. Says says Chris. Homie, popping in. How's it going, Mister? You get any cool new knives lately? Okay, I'm scrolling down. I'm gonna try to catch up so that I can get on to the reading. Destiny's starting the reading. Once upon a time in the fall boreal forest, which is the best time and place to be. Destiny's throwing a shout out to Mallow for finding water. Yeah, man, she really needed to find. She needed to find water for sure. Hike with Mike is so happy he's out of the cone of the hurricane. Whoops. Yes, I'm also happy that you're out of the cone for that hurricane, because that one looks like it's going to be a doozy. So you know what? Let's do the reading. It's a short one. It's a short one, but it's stuff that I find really fascinating. So this story, Home on the Range, is about. Is that Home on the Plains? Sorry. It's about archaeological evidence of prehistoric teepees. The teepee has been around for about 5,000 years because it just works, I guess. And so the thing I want to read is why aren't teepees perfectly symmetrical? Because I had noticed that while I was looking at one of the big ones. There were like three sizes. One was about like 4 meters. One was 2 meters. One was 4 meters. There's actually like they came in three general sizes depending on what they were used for, right? Like a full family one or a full community one was huge, but like it was just like a little hunt camp or something. They had a little 2-meter guy. Yes. 2 meters, 4 meters, and essentially 8 meters. And like how many skins were required to do each? How many bison hides? So like a 2-meter one was a six hides. The 4-meter one would have been 16 hides, and then for the 8-meter, 42 buffalo hides. Like holy crap! So, the reading. Why aren't teepees perfectly symmetrical? The Siouan word teepee is used today throughout North America to refer to a hide or fabric tent supported by a circle of wooden poles, and they were virtually always using lodgepole pine. In most areas, it seems. Teepees may look symmetrical, but most tilt towards the back with a steep side that faces oncoming winds. The shallower, more sheltered side acts as a brace for structural stability and hosts the door opening, as well as an upper smoke hole with adjustable flaps on either side. The steep side typically faces westerly winds, while the eastern doorway faces the spiritually renewing sun as it rises. Tethers are sometimes tied both inside and outside the teepee for added stability. The basic teepee design likely originated more than 5,000 years ago and has persisted with minimal modifications to present day. Right, and like here's a photo from presumably like Alberta of one of the smaller teepees, and I found that interesting because I had noticed while I was standing next to a ginormous teepee a few summers ago that it looked like it was sort of canted towards the back, and I had thought that maybe it was built by summer students or something. But I see the reasoning behind it, and the reasoning is solid. But like, I love how they came up with a reason or a method to keep these things solid in the winds. Because on the prairies, if a wind picks up in Alberta, sometimes it doesn't stop until the Ontario border, right? Because, um, anyways, and I just love this kind of stuff. I love historical building in almost all of its guises. The one element of this that I bring up a lot is how in especially like you can see this in the southern states historically, and other very warm areas. Um, if you look at a very old house in like Georgia or whatever, a lot of them had these really high roofs with little vents up at the top, right? And awnings and a huge wraparound deck with shade. And it these houses were designed this way because they didn't have air conditioning, right? 200 years ago, nobody had an AC unit in the window, right? Or central air. And so they had to come up with passive ways of keeping a house cool in the summertime. Big shade. We probably all still have grandparents who do the old fashioned method of, you know, opening the windows and raising the curtains at night, and then like as the sun comes up in the morning, running around, closing the windows and like dropping these heavy ass curtains as a way of trapping the cool air in the house for the day. I just find that kind of stuff enchanting, absolutely enchanting. And these teepees, like, they're just so well designed, right? It's so simple, but there was work that went into coming up with, like you had these two flaps at the smoke holes that you could control your airflow, right? To help the fire either catch better, or like if it's raining, you can close it up most of the way so that there's still like the convection, but you're not dousing your fire in a rainstorm. It's just fascinating stuff, And if you look at in the north, right, the igloo with the little antechamber, and then the bigger room. Fascinating how people just came up with methods to create livable spaces without an engineering degree, without an architecture degree, without electricity and air conditioning and gas heat and all that stuff. Hold on, I just want to, because it also reminds me of how often we've looked at this book, right? Like this book, I believe it was. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. No, it wasn't this book. It was the Kephart, I think, about how like a properly designed fireplace minimizes smoke in the house. But if you don't do it right, if you don't vent it right, if it's not built properly, you end up with a smoky room. People came up with that over maybe decades, maybe even a century or two or more of experimentation, right? I'm just looking through this book. I find stuff like that interesting. I love, like, part of me would love to just build a rammed earth or something house, like in the old way, and see if I could spend a whole summer there. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys have a favorite semi-permanent shelter or something? I just noticed I forgot to close that door in the back behind me, right there. That's going to bug me all night. Okay, let me just catch up with but yeah, let me know if you guys have a favorite. Like, I'm all about the log cabin, or I think that prospector tent is the way to go, or whatever. Because I would either like to talk about that or moan and bitch about the demise of Survive Knives. Hold on. Oh my land, I am lost. It's okay. I'm just gonna catch up. I'll just go in at the bottom. Beto's here. How's it going? Hold on. I think Hike with Mike was talking about something. Hike was in the bullseye of the storm yesterday. No, I did not say prehistoric TVs. Jeez. Al does love a good reading. That's why I keep doing them. I feel that because Al loves the reading so much, I would feel like I was letting him down by not doing the reading. So Al, I've done the reading. You're welcome. Hold on. Hike says, so many people are fleeing the storm on Interstate 75 that the average speed limit on the interstate was 20 miles per hour. Yeah, I saw some on, I don't know, Facebook Shorts or TikTok or something, some Floridian family saying, we're not leaving. We can't. There's gridlock. We can't go anywhere, which tells me that they need to build more highways. Look, you have to have better disaster plans than so many of these places have. The fact of the matter is the ocean temperatures are high enough that these bigger and bigger storms are just going to keep happening. Because look at how far the last one went, right? It almost hit the Midwest, for God's sakes, right? That's what hurricane season is going to look like now, I think. So we need better disaster plans. Some places need disaster plans about, Vancouver and Seattle are going to get hit by a huge earthquake at some point. Some people say they're overdue. Some people say they're not. I have no opinion about it. I'm just saying it will happen at some point. And so you hope to hell they have disaster plans in place. I'm sure of it. I'm talking off I'm just pulling examples out of the ether here. So I didn't do my research before making that statement. But like in some areas, you gotta have a hurricane plan in place, and that might mean that you need to build some more roads, because so much of it, I'll take the interstate system because I think that most or half or most of you guys are American right now. It's designed at a specific time. How many highways, especially in cities where you can't just widen the highway, how many highways are constantly choked? And the thing about traffic is you add another lane, it'll end up like the traffic will grow, so it'll still be choked, right? But people are going to die because they can't get out of disaster zones anymore. We have to know that everything is a disaster zone now. Hey, Jennifer, how are you doing? I'll tell you, Chris and Jennifer are amazing at popping in on my my Facebook lives as well. Now, granted, I'm usually doing cocktails for that, so it's easy content to pop in and like learn a new drink or talk about booze, right? That's fun. Yeah, definitely like the reading. I love that stuff. I love that stuff. If a wind picks up, it sometimes does not quit till the Manitoba border. Yeah, no, true. Absolutely. Wind picks up in Alberta, comes down off the mountains, just keeps on going till it almost hits Toronto, right? Oh, you got a new little guy. That's good to know. I wonder what it is. I wonder what you got. Now, Al is obviously talking about something he knows well about. Here, a good colonoscopy is interesting as well. I'm just going to trust you on that one. I'm just trying to. Oh yeah, Grace says screen porches were sometimes used for sleeping overnight. Absolutely. Could you imagine? Like it's been stanking hot, like 30 degrees all day, and then it goes down to like 15 at night. Somebody do the conversion for the old people and the Americans. Because what would 30 be? 80? That doesn't sound right. 76? No idea. But I would totally, even in Montreal. Okay, because here's the thing about Montreal is it'll go to 30 degrees. You know, it'll hit 30 degrees in the summer. It won't sit there. Well, it didn't used to sit there. You know, it might sit in the mid to high 20s for a week. Last summer, it really did sit at that 30 to 34 for a week, though, and that was terrible. But then it, you know, you get a little breeze at night. I would love to sleep outside, but I would be completely consumed by mosquitoes, right? So a nice covered porch with bug screening. I would sit out there when it's raining. Hot cup of tea, watch the rain, smell the wet earth. Absolutely. I got to figure out how to get that writing bigger. That's irritatingly small. By the way, yeah, hi Grace, welcome back. Russell says it's a live stream. It's the perfect time to be reading a book. Country Ways. I had no interest in my colonoscopy. I already know I'm an asshole. You almost used a bad word there, mister, but it's okay. No, you're right. Because, you know, screens aren't really that old. But the covered porch was a way of mitigating heat, right? Because A, you can sit in the shade, but B, it also meant that there wasn't sun going directly on the ground floor wall. You know, someone that I don't know, but who worked with the skipper of the sailboat that I used to crew on, he built. Obviously, the computer industry created a lot of rich people. Okay, I'm not one of them, but what else? He built a home into the side of a mountain. Well, a hill. And the climate, the indoor climate, whatever, is completely passively controlled. So he's on the side of a mountain that faces the sun, and there's a whole strip of windows that goes like all the way along the entire that face of the house. I don't mean like a wall with like windows in it. I mean it's a glass wall, and on the other side is a concrete wall. On the other side, like it's a glass wall, and then it's a concrete wall on the inside. And so all day there's this sun just coming right in there and heating up that wall. And then I don't remember how they keep the place from baking, but what it does do is it radiates heat throughout the night to keep the place from getting too cold. But like this also works in winter, right? Even a weak winter sun will still, if it's coming in all day. I don't know how well this ended up working, right? The guy was working with a theory. It seemed to work well at some times. I don't know if it worked well with like on every situation. It's also not the kind of theory. I think we have an advert going on. I think because I've got an ad. Let me know if you guys are getting an ad. Destiny's asking a question that I'm interested in as well, but I'm not interested in the conversation it turned into. Hold on. Homie said they owe him 2 knives. I think I know. Homie. Are you talking about survive knives that they owe you 2 knives? I don't think you're going to get them. Oh, my land. David is drinking decaf tea. Well, tea's a good drink. Decaf? What the hell? Camping in a yurt with a fireplace. Yeah, I don't think I would buy a yurt, but I have seen a couple, and they're really cool. They're really cool. I don't know where I would put a yurt, because a yurt is almost like a semi-permanent thing, right? Because historically, the tribe or whatever would pitch their yurt. Then, as the herds moved, they would pick up their yurt and go to the next area. Hey, Mark Davidson, how you doing? I don't know if I said hi to you before, but I hope you're having a good night. Excuse me. A properly made fireplace is fascinating, especially the ones that actually throw heat into the house. Was it in? I don't remember which book it was in, but like he went all the way into I have 650 Jamaican dollars in this book. Which book was that in? I'm not gonna like waste a bunch of our time looking for it right now, but it was, it has to have been in here. Or was it in let me just check the contents of this book. Let me check the contents of this here book. Where to find Mountain Goose? Nope. The Half Cave Shelter? Nope. Fallen Tree Shelter? Nope. Indian Shacks and Shelters, Birch Bark or Tar Paper Shack, Sawed Lumber Shanty. What I'm looking for is Overwater Camps, How to Use an Axe. You don't gotta tell me nothing. Fireplaces and the Art of Tending the Fire, page 206. I'm pretty sure this is going to be the what I was looking for. 206. Come on, baby doll. Oh, come on. Hearthstones and Fireplaces. That's page 200. More hearths and fireplaces. Yeah. So this section of the book is all about how certain like cross sections will give you a really nice smoke-free room, whereas some kind of won't, right? Like see how it's all about the airflow. And it's just a variant of what you remember when I was talking about those storm lanterns, right? The hot blast versus cold blast. And how what you don't really notice when you're just looking at these lanterns is that there's a lot of engineering that went into them, or like trial and effort over times and time and time. And if you look at really old lanterns versus where we got to, I mean, before the Coleman or the LED lantern, I mean, like, you can see that a lot of trial and error went into the lantern, the storm lantern, because those things on the side aren't just like supports to keep the top on. There's actual airflow in those, right? And there's airflow coming up into the bottom of the globe, and there's airflow going out the top, right? There's a convection thing happening, and you bring in cool air, which brings oxygen to the fire, and the gases, as the fire burns, they're vented out the top, right? Fireplaces too, right? Centuries probably of trial and error to come up with fireplace designs that really, really work, and a knowledge of how certain fireplace designs just don't. You end up with a room full of smoke. If I was building a cabin right now, I would use a wood stove rather than a fireplace. I love the historical magic of a fireplace, like an open hearth with a dog curled up in front of it, with my feet on the dog, and like a book in my hand, a cup of tea. like this kind of tea on the table next to me. But I just feel that the wood burning stove brings more practicality because you can cook flapjacks or whatever on top of it. You can, you know, you have a lot more control, and you're not so worried about sparks coming out the front and lighting your rug on fire. Hold on, I just got a little David James. Hi there. How are you doing? I hope you're having a good night. Somebody keeps pinging me, and it's driving me right round the twist. There we go. How you doing, David James? I hope you're having a good night. I'm having a great night so far. It is 21:38, so it's almost time for the resolution. Was gonna ask how David is, but TCAF T, what the hell? David says that according to our Florida neighbor, the I-75 has been gridlocked since Monday. Absolutely, because everyone's, everyone is trying to get the hell out of the way, right? Peanut Trucker says Florida has good disaster plans. All interstate lanes will be going north by tomorrow. Yeah, that makes sense. Absolutely, that really makes sense. Destiny says, did you see that hurricane-proof house that Homes on Homes made in the U.S.? No, I did not. I don't pay a lot of attention to him because it seems like his homes are almost too good to be true. Like I'm worried about the longevity of those houses. But I'm not singling him out for that, and I have nothing to back that up. It's just I feel that as I'm watching these houses being built, as somebody whose first job was in carpentry, and I spent 5 summers, working on houses. I'm just left cold. I don't know about, and I said again, I'm not singling him out. I think all those shows, they're working to a schedule, right? They got to get an episode out, and anytime construction is done sort of rushed like that, I get all like tingly because it's people's homes, right? It's people's houses. But yeah, no, I haven't seen that. Is there anything about it on YouTube, Destiny? I'm just taking a look. David says it could be worse. Could be cold tea from a thermos mug. Sure, could be. Oh, David says 86 Fahrenheit. That's when I'm talking about it being like 30, right? So 30 is 86. Okay, that's good to know. And says, is this thing on? Yeah. Are you still kicking back? And what do you have in? Did you use pencil? Because if you did, we all know you'll probably erase and change it. I would love to know what you're talking about. Hold on, let me skip down. Russell he's going to ask what to pour at 10. Oh, wait, he finished the blue. Yes, I did finish the blue during the last live stream. Made me sad to see it go. If he wasn't such a lush, he'd have some left, wouldn't he? But well, I still have some of the King George V left. I bring that one out if I want to impress someone. Russell says he drinks too much. I condone that behavior. Yes, exactly. The concrete wall is a heatsink. Yeah. I'm just not sure, like, how they keep from baking in the... Oh, actually. Okay. They might have had that house organized that all the daytime activity stuff was further in, because like this house was built into the side of a hill or a mountain, right? And then I think like all the bedrooms might have been closer to the heatsink. this is like 30 years ago I'm talking about, so I may not be remembering everything properly. Apparently they love mic homes down there. Well, that's good to know. Yeah. Some of our Florida state parks have yurts to stay in. We can hook you up when you come down. Yeah, Parks Canada and the CEPAC, which is, I guess, Parks Quebec, you could call it. They both have not yurts, but they have sort of semi-permanent tent-like structures that are cool. Like, in my most recent video, where I believe I took, I went camping with the girls. Please tell me I published that. I think I published that. We sort of walked past one or two of those, the ones that the Quebec parks, the Quebec national parks have. They used to have these things called Utopia. Well, some of them still do, which is a French-built sort of rigid walls, canvasy tarp kind of roof. But there are some Quebec-made ones now as well called something else. And Parks Canada uses an authentique, which is essentially the same idea. And they're kind of yurt-like in that there's rigid structure, but it's not really a permanent structure. It's essentially a tent with rigid walls and a rigid floor. And in fact, the walls aren't really 100% rigid either. You know, it's just there are rigid elements, and the frame is like made of huge logs or whatever, rather than just like tent poles. Ah, look who's here. Shawnee in the house. Nice to see you. How late am I? It's 21:44. What time did Shawnee pop in? 21:33. Wow. Okay, so I gotta rocket along here. Okay, saying hi. Russell's asking if David's done the wood stove thing yet. Probably not. Yeah, I get it. Pam wants to be home for the inaugural lighting. I would want to be as well. In fact, I would love to be there for that. Al is having the time of his life, obviously, from reading the pictures. Hey, I'm just laying down the information, man. You guys can be like picking it up, or you can leave it there. Pearls I'm throwing out there. Pearls of knowledge. Pearls of knowledge. Let me just sort of scroll down a little bit. Lots of firewood split. Nice. I think that's good. Nice that you've already got it stacked. I'm just trying to get. Hold on. Al is, saying wonderful things because it's the truth. Yeah, that's true. Insurance companies don't love wood stoves. Absolutely not. But insurance companies will take any excuse, right? I am just trying to. Al is asking Russell how the wood pile's coming. Working on it yesterday, he says. How's Serge's wood pile going? Only one day a week. Yeah. Al says, Russell, think about it and discussing with CG and others is not working on it. Yikes. Zing. Hold on. Sal says, I've been trying to bring in the firewood. Every time I have time, it rains. Yeah. Russell says, I have a friend with a leak in his roof. I went over when it was sunny the other day. I asked him why he wasn't fixing the roof. He said it isn't raining. Fair enough. Shawnee's asking if I bought a new tent yet. No, because life got really. I threw out the old one. And I was going to buy one But life has gotten really expensive all of a sudden. So not going to share everything because, but at Cody's school, her class has a huge trip, a European trip coming up at the end of the year. But like, they don't fundraise. The parents just have to fork over $5,000. So I have to, start paying into that. And also, like, man, I don't know. Everything just got really, really expensive all of a sudden. Anyways, I'm not going to talk about that. But often there's an overhang over the windows to shade during summer. Yeah. Oh, because of the lower sun. Yeah. Man, part of me would love a passive home. For sure. Not a whole lot I can do with the home that we live in, though, you know? David's asking if the chat is frozen. Is the chat frozen? Doesn't look like it. I mean, the chat is, thumbing its nose at me and showing me just how behind I am. That's not stressful at all. Let me just sort of boom, bam, boom, da bam, bam. Oh, I'm just scrolling down. Oh, I'm actually. Hold on. Shawnee still has not bought a new tent to replace the broken one. You've also been doing field trips and stuff. Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna buy. I mean, because I've got a really good, like, 2-person tent for if I go camping solo. That Tenenbaum actually set me up with, and I have a little tent for Camille. But like a big honking 6-person tent for like toute la famille. Yeah, I'm gonna buy something else, but I'm not gonna buy anything expensive because I don't care how much it weighs because we only use something that big for like car camping trips, right? So I don't need it ultralight. I don't need carbon fiber poles. I don't need, that tent that we had, that Coleman, that was wrong. That Columbia, it lasted me for like 15 years, right? And it was like a $180 tent kind of thing from Canadian Tire. So I'm not going to complain about that tent. It did yeoman service for a long time, and it was a very budget tent. That doesn't mean it was a bad quality tent. It was quite good. It's just it was heavy because there was nothing put into trying to make the lightness happen with that tent. Okay, hold on. Hike with Mike had to step away because the wife is in Michigan. Checking on with her. Back in the chat now. Welcome back. I'm glad to know. Well, if you're back in the chat, that means your wife is safe. Hold on. Shawnee says, I want to look at tents in the store. I have to measure what I need for 5 people with cots. So online, it's hard to tell if it's what I need. It sounds to me like you need like a 10-person. Hey, LT is in the house. How's it going, LT? This does not surprise me at all. Insurance has skyrocketed in the past 2 years, absolutely, and it's just going to get worse. It's funny because another episode of that podcast series, mini series I was telling you guys about last week, the Not Built for This mini series from 99% Invisible, went into sort of how the hurricane insurance, flood insurance is built in so many states where the government kind of stepped in to as a backstop, and it's created a sense that floodplains are not out of bounds for new house building, and that needs to stop. That needs to stop. Because insurance is just going to keep getting more and more expensive, and the states want to get out of it now. So can you imagine what you know? It hasn't stopped skyrocketing, and it's just going to get worse. And in certain parts of, I believe it was Calgary, where the floodplains around the river, in some of those areas, the residents were given the option of selling to the government, having their homes expropriated, or not being able to insure them, right? So I mean, I'd be like, yeah, take the house. You're giving me fair market value for my house? Take it. I'll buy something halfway up a mountain, you know? Yeah, and the insurance is actually lower than it should be in many states. Like if market forces were allowed to sort of have sway, insurance would be even more than it is. Just taking a look. But yeah, hey, I got to the bottom of the chat, but like almost nobody else told me what kind of semi-permanent shelters they liked. I got like a yurt, and then Shawnee and I were talking about tents. And what's up with you guys? Hike says, I love my swamps in Florida. Hold on, I'm going to bring that up. I love my swamps in Florida, but I may need to move to another place. I don't live near bodies of water, so the only thing I worry about is trees around the house. Look, certain areas of the world are going to become uninhabitable, in terms of you cannot afford to live there because you get a once in a century storm every 3 years. So the insurance will just make it untenable to live there. There are towns that have moved, not many, but there are a couple of towns that have moved. There are towns that have built levees behind where the floodplains were, so they've had to sort of rewild, the area in front, because the thing about a wetland is that it's a flood mitigator, right? So if you let the floodplains around a river go back to their natural state, you're actively saving your ass, or you're mitigating it so that, okay, you may still get flooded, but it'll be nowhere near as bad as it was when all of your natural floodplains were capped with concrete and the drainage wasn't happening anymore. David would love to know why people build houses in floodplains and then expect to be compensated by the government when their house washes away. Because people don't think, right? The guys building houses, the contractor, or the folk building the subdivisions, they're in the business of building and selling houses. They'll fill in a wetland with concrete so that they can put new houses there and sell them. And we're just built for that because I guess because nobody thinks it's going to happen to them, I guess. Hold on. Yeah, cities. Cities have made the decision to let companies have building permits. It's not financially viable though for these areas. Country Boy says my semi-permanent is in the back of your truck with a canopy. Yeah, fair enough. I mean that's fair enough. I mean, especially some trucks are not made with that in mind, but like some trucks are. Look, if you can put something down on the bed of a pickup truck, so you don't have the ridges sort of sticking into your back, and you got a canopy up above that, why not throw a mattress in there, an air mattress even? Heck with Mike says, yes, as a conservationist, rivers should be in their natural state. Yeah, I also agree with that. The rivers should not. I mean, you can say it as a conservationist or as a greeniac, but you can also just say it in terms of danger zones, right? For people, it's not financially viable. Homie sent me a picture of. He bought a Rife F3 in Magna Cut, okay, and black micarta. Just going to show this picture. I can show the picture, right? Got to drop the brightness. That's a pretty nice little set you got there. I like it. Oops. I'm going to edit this video afterwards. Sorry about that. Yeah, truck camping. Yeah. Urban sprawl sucks. What cities should be doing is building up rather than out. Right? They should build up. They should concentrate in the city center because we kind of need the farmland. We need the farmland more than we need yet another huge set of condos. I'm just going to take note of something because I'm going to edit this video afterwards. I want to take note of the time. At around 56 minutes. There we go. Oh, homie says, don't worry about it. Okay, I just felt really stupid there. My pickup has a 6-foot flatbed on it, perfect for a king air mattress. Yeah, absolutely. Sure. If you can, keep the mosquitoes off. If you could be like surrounded by just bug netting on a cool breeze, like not a cold night, but it's just a cool night after a 30-degree day, that sounds like heaven. I mean, I would want something rainproof on top. That's why I love, you sometimes see like an old Land Rover Defender, or I think they make them for Jeep Wranglers as well, like this canopy thing that comes out. You could just sort of be under there. I don't know if they do this, but if they made like bug netting that could attach to that, I'd sleep outside. I wouldn't even go in the back of the Jeep. Absolutely. No bugs in the winter. Yes, that's true. Absolutely. Yeah, truck camping can be cold any time of the year for sure. Hold on. Destiny says multi-million-dollar homes as close to the city's river. Not sure what to make of this. The banks erode easily and floods happen even here in the prairies. No offense meant to anyone, just wondering. Well, yeah, that's the thing. That's why things I want to live on a waterfront property as well. I do, because we have an idea of what waterfront property means. It's beautiful views. It's expensive as hell. But like my mother-in-law has waterfront property. Her family's had it since way before that was really expensive, but she had to have her property raised by 10 feet in order to not lose her insurance, because they had 3 once in a century floods within, I think, 6 years. So that waterfront property looks amazing. It looks beautiful. It's romantic. It's terrific. But it gets really expensive if you live in the kind of world we live in right now, Disney, I did show the knife. I did. I don't want to live in 1,000 people's block of steel and concrete. Not me, but that doesn't help the ecosystem. It's about sort of, a very dense city. There's less driving that needs to happen. You're not ripping out the farmlands to build subdivisions, like I think if new properties were all multi-family constructions, that would be a step in the right direction. The thing is that everybody wants their own little house, right? This is a semi-detached. It's a single family home built in 1951. So, I mean, I'm sitting here living in what part of the problem is. You know, this neighborhood is all semi-detached homes. There's there's a couple of duplexes, but you know, I would the further out the farms have to be, the more expensive the food becomes. You know, I live in a neighborhood where half the neighborhood is riding the poverty line. Hey, it's 10:02. Did nobody remind me? Hold on. At number 2, Hike with Mike will never live along waterfront property, especially in Florida. I absolutely agree. I wouldn't either. I would love to live partway up a mountain with a view down into Country Boy camps in his truck year round. Oh, so what am I drinking? I think Al said to have the King. If Al, if you're still here, are you gonna have a fancy whiskey with me? Grace is working on setting up a Honda Element for camping. Back seats fold up sideways. Yep. So interior of the back vehicle is an empty square space waiting to become your cabin. I like it. Christy says, I wasn't here to remind you, and hello, Jess and everyone. Hi, Christy. Letting me down. You're letting me down. Oops. Song by Rush is in your head now with their song Subdivisions. I grew up in Dunedin where the Blue Jays string. I've had a song in my head all day, but it's not in English, so I'm not going to share it with you guys. I'm just trying to scroll down. It's Al, are you still here? Am I doing the King or am I pouring something else? I can do my Yukon malt, or I have this peated blend. I showed both of those last week, I think. And I have this gorgeous, filthy, dirty tasting Craig Ellicky 13. This is so dirty. It's so loud. It's so earthy and farmy. And it's not that expensive comparatively. It's just gorgeous. Just fabulous. Okay, Al says the King. Okay. Al, what are you drinking? I got to be careful opening this one up because if I drop it and break it, I mean, you got to be careful. It's not a lantern globe, Jess. I'm going to miss this when it's gone too. It's a very nice whiskey. I wish it was 50% ABV though. I think that it would really kill. It would really cook at 50% ABV. I think it's like 483. So I mean, especially for what it costs, they could make this 50% and they wouldn't have to raise the price. But the thing is, some of the whiskey in this blend is from Ghost Distilleries. So I'm guessing they're trying to make it stretch as long as possible. Because you can't bring back LT can't stand most French music. Man, there are some fabulous bands in this province. I was listening to Sally Folk today. She put out an album in 2013 that I really loved. And Peanut Trucker sent a Facebook Messenger picture of their, let me just take a look, of their waterfront property. See, who doesn't want a view like this off their balcony? Wait. I think I have to make it a little darker so you can see that. Fool? Like, come on. Who doesn't want that? Right? But I don't want to lose my home, Just taking a look. I don't remember what I was talking about. So it's 10 o'clock. So I'm hoping that Al's drinking something with me. I hope he's drinking something great. Al, let me know what you're having. Russell's probably drinking something as well, like not the red label. What did you move on to? I can't remember, Russell. Touch of molasses, a little bit of butterscotch, very tiny hint of something smoky. Peat. It's getting stronger the more I nose it. There's no age statement in this, but there's some old booze in here for sure. It's like a confection. Just lovely. Yep. Very nice. Yeah, there is peat in there. Definitely. And it pops out more on the tongue than it did on the nose. You know what I think we should do again someday soon is let's make a poll. Let's make a poll. You know, for a poll, I have to do it in the YouTube screen. I can't do that in Russell. I twigged on something that you said about I twigged on something that you'd said when I was setting up this new streaming software. You said to get my tip jar set up, and I was like, dude, I have the YouTube tip jar, but I hadn't realized that. I don't know why. I figured that by osmosis, a tip going into that tip jar would show up on screen. Anyways, so I took a look at it last night, and I think I set up the StreamYard tip jar. I put an experimental tip jar link. Not telling you to tip me. I'm just saying I know what you were talking about, and I've I think fixed that. I was about to say something, and then oh wow, $1,400 on that truck. Yikes. Oh no, and $1,300 to fix your fridge, and $600 for a new washing machine. Holy crap! How the hell are you guys feeling right now? Yikes! You guys had to do your air conditioning. So we got 3 big things that we need to do on this house. We need to replace the windows. They're falling apart. Like we have some of them that like you put them up and they just, you know, the whatever those things on a roof are called, not tiles, but shingles. They're starting to sort of peel up. So we're gonna have to redo our roof pretty soon. And I still have a wicked leak somewhere in my foundation here that needs to be looked at, but that would be part of redoing the basement. It's just like life is just getting so expensive. What? Your AC unit died a couple of weeks ago and cost 10 grand. I have a friend who I've mentioned this before. He drove an Aston Martin DB9. He bought it secondhand. Okay, so we're not talking about him throwing like millions down, but he bought it used. He had always dreamed of an Aston. I understand that completely, because if they made an electric one, I would sell a kidney, or a plug-in hybrid. I would sell a kidney, and maybe a couple of family members' kidneys, because they're expensive. But anyways, so he bought this Aston, beautiful car, but the air conditioning went on it, and that was 10 grand. So he sold it. He fixed it and then immediately sold the car, because if the air conditioning on your car goes and it costs 10 grand, that's not the air conditioning for a house like you're mentioning, right? it's also a harbinger of what is about to start happening on that car, because with these things, everything comes with the name brand on it, whether or not it's the exact same article as something that's going into a BMW or a Rover, for God's sakes. But yeah, 10 grand really hurts. Absolutely. And 10 grand is a big chunk of change. Peanut Trucker says go with metal roof, cheaper and lasts longer. Right. I don't know about down there, but up here, a metal roof is easily twice the price. It does last longer, but I'm 52, so I feel like I'm just buying the next owner of this house a nice roof, you know? Like, how long will I realistically live here? 20 years, maybe? I really would like to put a metal roof on, though, and solar panels. So it seems like, so when you guys are talking about air conditioning, are you guys talking about those Hike with Mike? I am 52, as in 5'2". That didn't even occur to me. Are you talking about those heat pump / air conditioner units that go into like a head thing, or are you talking about central air? Russell swears by metal roofs, and even on 100. I would as well. If I could afford it. Like, if I win the lottery tomorrow, then okay, then that would mean that I'd bought a ticket today, which I didn't. But you know what I'm saying? Like, if I won big money, or I came into big money in some way, I would call to have the roof done immediately and to get a solar system put in. But then I would also call to get the basement done immediately and the windows replaced immediately. Because, you know, Peanut Sugar says central heat, AC units with heat pump, central heat and air. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I figured you were talking about. But yeah. And by the way, we have a heat pump that is actually too small for our house. It's a heat pump / air conditioning thing. It hangs on the side of the house. It's got like one head in at the top of the stairs, but we need a bigger unit. So delicious. Let me close down some windows because I'm getting lost here. I'm getting lost in the shuffle. I was going to start a poll because I was talking about something. Oh, yes. Should we do another cabin? What would we call it? Like when Russell and I would look at cabins for the second half of a live stream. Cabin session. Soonish. I know that's me just talking without checking with Russell first, right? Oh, that's weird. Do you guys see that? Boom! Look at that! Look at that! Right there. Oops! Look at them. That's weird, but okay. Christie's got 2 AC units. Are you talking about the ones in the window, or are you talking about 2 heat pumps? 2 heat pumps sounds like a big freaking expenditure. So Peanut Trucker did vinyl siding and new windows in 2010. It was 25 grand. Roof was 3,500. Really? Siding can be expensive though. Russell says metal roof definitely, and solar power definitely, and hot tub definitely, and sauna and slip and slide definitely. You know what you just reminded me of? My fiddler and I, and a couple of, this is when we were working at an operetta society. A couple of the soprano soloist, my sister, I don't know, a bunch of us went to a house of a friend in Hudson, Quebec, with a big roll of clear plastic and created essentially a slip and slide curling game. Okay, so like we use this plastic to slide on inner tubes, and had like the circles, and so you would take a runner. Obviously, you had water going on. Take a runner and just jump onto this donut thing and slide down. And we played. We didn't need people with the brooms, and we played curling all afternoon, and it was great fun. But we singed the hell out of the grass because it was a hot day, and we had this clear plastic down on the grass. We just destroyed the grass. The owner of the house was unimpressed. All in the name of a good time, though. Christy, no window units. Window units do not work in Arizona. Okay. Hike with Mike misses the Raspberry Rock music live streams. I had a thought about having music on live streams recently. LT, no drinking because he's at work. Fair enough. Fair enough. I'm wondering if I do like a members only stream, if I can get away with playing music in the background. Like, because I would not monetize that. I don't monetize my members only stuff. So, like, would I get away with it? And maybe not, because I think Russell doesn't monetize his Books Fest, but I think he got shut down one night when I was watching over a song. So maybe I wouldn't get away with it. Jeez. I've got to turn that down. It just said the man on the street donated, but it doesn't say what. Oh, what the hell? Was that a mistake? Al? Thank you. If that was a mistake, then let me know afterwards and we can fix that. What was the message with it, though? I'm looking for where. Yeah, Hike, Mike. Yeah, okay. Eyes on the prize. Yeah, I'm using a new system because StreamYard, Krista, nothing popped up on your screen. What happened? Really? Because something popped up. It's really weird because on the Streamlabs screen, it just sort of said somebody donated, but then it was cut off. And then on YouTube, it said, it showed the whole thing. And it's really weird because the text. Yeah, Russell says it was the briefest alert ever. I'm going to take a look at that. The text is a different size in the YouTube screen than it is in the Streamlabs screen as well. I got to figure out how this works. Yeah, they used to pop up in comments as well, but I don't see it. Hey, Honeybee is here. I was just thinking about you recently, and I don't remember why. I think it had to do with the leather. I think it had to do with the leather that you recently bought. And I was sort of like it. Like there was a thought process. My brain is terrible. So I don't remember what the chain of thought was, but anyway, whatever. I'm just going to move on. Russell, maybe we'll do like a little private stream and just play with the settings one night, just to see if we can get this to be better. Because the tiny text, the whatever. Man on the street says, no mistake, maybe drunkard, but okay, well, tell you what, if tomorrow you have regrets, let me No. uh, yes, YouTube donations don't show up. YouTube donations show up in chat. Tip jar just shows up on screen. Good to know. How long does this message stay up? Yeah, so that pops up in the chat, and thank you, by the way. I will put that to good use. Wait, and that showed up on screen as well, but it didn't show up on screen in the Streamlabs window. Not long enough. Okay. Yeah. So tell you what. Yeah. Russell and I are going to figure this out at one point, because this system I'm using, I wanted to explain. I was explaining to somebody why there's text on the screen now. It's because the system I was using, up to the price of my tier by like 100%, from 44 US per month, which was already unsustainable, to 89 US per month. Couldn't do it. One of my subscribers, I think was it Shawnee or was it Christy? It was one of you two, because you guys always sort of come through. Suggested this, which is essentially a web-based version of what Russell uses for Books Fest. It's a little more basic in a lot of ways. Yeah, it was Shawnee. Streamlabs Talk Studio is what it's called. I keep forgetting, but in the URL bar it sort of says. This is $18 per US per month. So it's still, I still spend money to do these streams, but for 18 US a month, I'm loving this. Will it stay 18 US a month? Probably not. But for now, I'm happy as a pig in shit. I didn't really just say that, right? Let me just sort of hide the honeybee. Where was I? Yeah, so you saw it on screen. I'm confused. I got to make this work. Hold on a second. What's an ape ship? Oh, I get it. Yes. Shingles can be a DIY project. Yes, absolutely can. I don't think I'm qualified to do it, though. I'm going to pour another small dram of that king, of the kingly king. By the way, shingles can also be painful. Just saying. We can see David's. Yeah, David did it as a super chat, not a tip jar. But yeah, it has to show up longer, because if somebody throws me a tip, I want them to be seen. I want them to be able to bask in the glory of people saying, "Yeah, man, you rock," because that's half the fun. Wow, it's almost 10:30 already. What the hell? Where's this night going? It's because I'm just like, right? And I'm just blah, 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 blah. And anytime I do that, I'm having a great time. You did shingles, eh? But like, what's the pitch of your roof? I'm scared of falling off my roof. Let me dream for a minute here, guys. So I build my log cabin, okay? I would try to do a metal roof, but part of me would love to do cedar shakes or cedar shingles. Just the smell of it alone would be like absolutely heavenly. Russell's asking, how many weird gables and shit do I have on my roof? Makes shingles really annoying. Okay, so For now, the roof looks like this. Okay. If you're gonna live stream, you got. Thanks, Clem. Good to know. So right now, what my roof looks like is, say we do this. It's actually steeper than that. It comes down like this. Okay, it comes like this. There's a window up here. And then there's a bump out that goes all the way along. Bedroom window, bathroom window. So that's pretty much what my place looks like. Okay, that's a terrible drawing. Hold on, let me fix that. Here's the air conditioning thing, which is actually technically illegal because of it's too close to the neighbors. There's a little roof that comes off here. That's terrible. Over the balcony where the stairs come down, there's a living room window which has to be replaced. There's a door, mudroom window over here. So here's the thing. We're gonna get one of these put on the back as well because we need more space. We need more space up there. We want to rejig a few things, and in order to do that, we're going to stick another dormer off the back. The long ones are called something else. They're dormers, but they're not just the little singles. Way over half of the houses have two little singles over the bedroom windows in the front. I don't know where their upstairs bathroom is, though. Ours was one of the more deluxe ones. Like some of them had the whole sort of long dormer and a bathroom at the top of the stairs. Come on, fool. Focus. In fact, our house was the demo house for the whole project. So what does that get us? Nothing. Bragging rights, I guess. But the house is 6 inches wider all around than all the other ones, which we took up when we had the ground floor gutted and re-insulated and stuff. Hold on a second. I'm LT did his garage. I would do my garage. I think I would absolutely do my own garage. I want to have the garage gutted and built like fundamentally as a workshop though. And I want to get rid of the garage door and put either one of those like those roll up sort of things that some stores have. I saw like there's a bar somewhere in Montreal where the whole front, like there's a counter along the window, but that whole front rolls up. And I would love something like that rolls up because then I can build a loft into the garage. Right now the garage door just and forget it. I want it to not do that. So I was either going to build sort of like an accordion door thing or just like one of those roll up things so that I can build a loft in there for storage or whatever. I would like to bump out the roof a little bit and put a strip of windows along there. There's a lot of stuff I'd like to do, but I would totally do my own shingling on the garage because A, it's not as steep as the house, and B, it's smaller. And C, when the previous owner had the house, the roof reshingled, the assholes only did the front side that she could see. So the back half of it really needs to be done. Mike, you've had a couple of zingers tonight. Grace says, does Streamlabs not have a tutorial? Seems like a good idea instead of having to trial and error your way through it. They probably do, actually. I haven't. Oh, there's an advert. Who's got an ad right now? If you have an ad, you can't hear me. But yeah, I'll look into that for sure. I mean, they do have tutorials. Serge says he thinks the roof he did was 35 or 40 degrees. Okay. Russell is asking, how do we go from metal to cedar shingles? We didn't. Like, I wouldn't really do it, but I love the magic of cedar shingles. Absolutely. You know, it's called a shed dormer. Okay, I knew it was still some kind of dormer, but I couldn't remember what the actual. You know, Mike says life is a tyranny of policies and procedures. I love that. Um, yeah, no, Russell. Yeah, what I'm talking about is I wouldn't do cedar shingles on my house or my garage. No freaking way. No way. But if I ever get to build my log cabin, it would part of me would love to do cedar shingles. The logical part of me is like, no, you're gonna do a metal roof. But I just think I would enjoy building a cedar shingle roof. That's gotta be expensive though. Like I feel that real wood is getting more and more expensive. Am I at the bottom of the chat again? Man, I am keeping up. I did not snap my fingers. Maybe cedar shingles on your outhouse. Oh yeah, actually, maybe. Um, outhouse would be an absolute priority for sure. David says do slate. I hadn't even thought of that, but yeah, not the same gorgeous smell though. Or just stick a piece of cedar shingle in your underwear drawer. That's actually I mean, I know you're just being a funny guy, but that's actually not a bad idea. I have those little cedar balls, but I have to bring them back to life. Like I've had them forever, and they no longer have the smell. So I'm gonna either rub them with some. Is it enough just to sand them, or do I have to throw a little cedar essential oils on them to bring them back to life? It's interesting. I don't know. I would love to, because if I could bring my existing little cedar balls, sort of bring the scent back rather than tossing them or using them for fire or something and buying new ones, I'd rather do that. I am absolutely. I'm really becoming throwaway averse. We have so much stuff that is just we have such a throwaway culture, and it's weird. It's weird because this is why I didn't buy a Mora knife, a Mora kniv, for the longest time because people kept saying, "Man, they're so cheap that if it breaks, you just throw it away." And I was just like, "Oh no, no, that's not the way we need to be thinking about bushcraft stuff." Um, then when I finally was like, I have to know what it's all about, so I bought a companion, heavy duty, a robust, because they were like cheap, and I mean now they're like getting to be like $40 Canadian, but back then they were still like 24. Um, oh, is Serge out? Hold on a second. Good night, Serge. Sleep well. Hold on. Where was I? I'm lost. I'm lost. Oh my god, I have to get myself checked for freaking ADHD or something. It's gone. I don't remember what I was talking about. Damn it, Serge. Why did you have to leave then? Country Boy says, I will walk 10 feet from my workstation and bag up 50 pounds of yellow cedar shavings for you. You paying for shipping? Not for 50 pounds. Peanut Trucker says, I was talking about the poll. Somebody tell me what I said, because I'm lost. Was I riffing off of shingles? Oh, I just got a message from. Okay, hold on. To check my. I'm just gonna check it on my phone. If I can find my phone under all this stuff, there's like 4 things on my desk. I'm doing my level best, people, to keep an organized desk. It is hurting my soul, but I'm working on it because I need to be more organized. Okay, I shall check my PayPal. Login. Please tell me I don't have to change my. Oh no! Did it work? What? Al, stop! Yes, it worked. It worked. It worked. Why did you send me so much money? I've got like $1,300 in my PayPal all of a sudden. Send nothing else, Al. We'll talk about it tomorrow. I mean, deeply thank you. I mean, that's definitely a bottle of whiskey or box of tiles or something. But yes, it did work. It did work. And I'm going to make sure that it shows up on screen for longer, for sure. God, what was I talking about? I was talking about the poll, says Chris. Man, Al, now I'm all like feeling awkward. A roofer friend in Germany taught me how to nap slate shingles. Somewhere in Germany, there's a house with a few of my shingles on it. Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah. Russell says I was saying some truly emotional and riveting stuff. Yes. Riveting is the way I work. Absolutely. Slate shingles, cedar shingles, slate shingles, pole. It was fabulous work, whatever I was talking about. It was great. It was riveting. It was emotional. I felt the flow of the information. I was throwing absolute pearls of wisdom out there. I was doing a really good job. If I do say so myself, I was really rocking the show. Cabin. Yes, a outhouse is a must-have. Right? I said that. Man, what the hell was it? Mike Ox in the house. How are you doing? How you doing? You are unlucky enough to arrive just as I was trying to figure out what the hell I was just talking about. And the peeps are not being all that helpful. I was talking about how we throw everything. Hey, Susie Q is in the house. We were talking about. Oh yeah, right. Okay, so throwaway culture. So I didn't buy a Mora knife for ages because I was like, I'm not buying a throwaway knife because that's what people on Bushcraft USA and forums and stuff were saying. It's like they're so affordable that if you can throw it away and just replace it. Broke the handle, that's fine because they're rat tail, right? When I finally bought 2 of them because they were so cheap. Now they're more like a $40 knife, but at that point they were still like 18, 20 kind of thing. I love what you get for the money on a Mora knife. Any Mora knife. My Garberg is my favorite Mora, but that's like $100 Mora. But I still feel that it's yeah, it was about like 100 after taxes because Canada. It was about like 120 or something. 100. But I have some way more expensive knives that are not that much better than that Mora Garberg. I feel that the Garberg is it's an unsung hero, man. It's a um it hits above its weight in terms of it hits above its price point. Okay. Is it a pretty knife? Hell no. Nope. I mean, I get why they have the design in it. It's like this traditional Scandinavian design, this and that, but it's not an attractive knife. But my F1 is not an attractive knife either, and I love the look of it. I have never been into synthetic synthetic handles. I've always wanted my scales to be wood, preferably something fancy. But the Garber has a certain magic to it that is not necessarily aesthetic, but it's not the ugliest knife I've ever seen. And I do think that it's 100. I don't know. It's probably more now, but when I bought mine, it was $100 knife, 110. That hit like $180 knife, right? So I can't hate on that. But across the board, these Moras all hit above their price. Yes, your companion or whatever is going to be like a rat tail or is a 3/4 tang or something like that. Don't batten with it. But they all hit above what a knife of their price points should give you, right? Because even that that Cold Steel Canadian belt knife, that's like a $40 or $50 knife now, right? That's not a $12 knife anymore. I would rather have the Mora. Absolutely. The Mora is a much higher quality knife for around the same price point as that Cold Steel. And I liked that Cold Steel. I was like, because when I bought my Cold Steel, it was a $15 knife. And I was of the impression that it was criminally underpriced for what you got. And evidently, the laws of inflation have agreed with me because now I can't get it on like Amazon anyway for under like $41. Like at that point, I'm a little less in love with it. But these Moras all hit above their weight, and they make a great. Oh, Christy's asking about the pole. Yes, give me a second to finish what I'm talking about. Wait. Yes, and by the way, I did say hi, right, Susie? I was talking about how we throw everything away, which drives me crazy. Heck with Mike says, I recycle as much as I can. Use pieces of packing cardboard as fire starters when I camp. Yeah, why not? Right? Like if I'm camping, if I'm camping on screen, I don't want to be using rolled up paper as part of my Tinder in a YouTube video, because every time I do a YouTube video, I want to be either showing or improving my skills, right? But if like I'm camping with my 2 kids and they just want to eat, yeah, I'm going to use cardboard. I'm going to use newspaper, right? I'm not going to use a match. I'm still going to use flint and steel, or more likely a ferro rod. But my kids have to eat, you know. So I'm kind of with you on that. LT did just before. I am unsure of what I said. I'm unsure what I said. Oh, Mike loves buck knives. my stepfather-in-law, I guess, my wife's stepdad, who I used to hunt with, big fan of buck knives. And Buck it's an old enough brand that, you know, even when I was a kid, there were buck knives, right? It's a classic for a reason. It's very popular. It's a classic look. I have no problem with the brand. I don't own a single buck though. And if I was to buy a knife tonight, which I will not do, but I'm saying conceptually, if I was to buy a knife, what I want is, let me just find an image. Let me find what I'm looking for. Still what I'm looking for. I'm going to find it. Talk amongst yourselves while I'm looking. You guys know what I'm looking for too. I mean, those of you who've been watching me for a long time know exactly what the hell I'm looking for. $22. $22. I shouldn't have done that. That was terrible. I mean, that sounded like I was making a specific accent, which I wasn't, but it did sound like that. Now I'm all like regretful and stuff. Tents and tools. Come on, Holmes. Show me what I'm looking for. So many pages. I would love a canvas tent with a stove in it. I want one like you guys would not believe. When am I ever going to get time? When am I going to get time to go camping by myself in the winter? I realized while I was talking to my manager at the day job last week that I haven't actually taken any vacation time this year, and we can only because like in previous years I spent a week at Russell's, or I have done this or that, or we did like a week of family camping. Piss it, I can't find it because I'm trying to, but I want little like a canoe knife or whatever, right? A little pocket knife. Two blades come out, super simple, right? The one from the Kephart trio. I want that knife because I want to do a few episodes on a Kephart trio and how I would build that trio today. I that's what I want to do. So if I was to buy a knife right now, it would be that. The little grandfather's pen knife. The little whittling knife. But I've looked at knives quite a bit, and I'm looking for a specific blade shape. Because in the Kephart book, somewhere, for God's sakes, I'm embarrassing myself. I'm like, where is it? It shows the trio with the shape of the blades, and I want to absolutely ape that trio as much as I can. I have the dual the 2-bit hatchet. The one in fact I have is, some people would see me taking that into the woods and be like, oh my god, that's a collector's. Shut up. I'm about tools the way I'm about whiskey. Everything I buy gets drunk, whiskey wise, rather than flipped on the secondary market, and every tool I buy gets used. But you guys know, right? Like there's the belt knife. There's the little pen knife, and then there's the 2-bit axe. Not the 2-bit axe, the dual bit axe. Country Boy agrees with Mike Knox about Buck knee phase. Okay, I'm going to end the poll. I'm ending the poll. Poll closed. I see it showed up on screen again, right there. Boom. Should we do another cabin session soonish? 77% said yes. 22% said no. So I, just between you guys and me, don't tell Russell that I did that poll, but I'll ping him and see if he wants to do. Because the thing is about those sessions, he does all the work, right? Like, I don't have time to. I know what I want to do as a reading for a particular week. I have time sometimes to find a couple of news articles, but I throw these things together. I run down here when I have time at 8:30 and throw everything together and get it up, right? So it's like, I can say, yeah, we're going to do this, but I should probably ask Russell before I. All right. Al is out. Good night, Mr. Al. Thanks for your massive gift, and I hope you're having a good night. Country Boy is saying what I am thinking. He's a very generous man. Hike with Mike says, Hike with Mike says, Moors are nice, but they rust from sweat. I would think that in a place like Florida, you need to have stainless. I prefer carbon steel, but in anything that's a remotely wet environment, I'm going to use stainless. My Mora Garberg is stainless, but also I oil all my tools. Like when I get home from a trip, I oil. I wash, I sharpen, wash, and oil all my tools for sure. Okay, LT is out. Good night. Oops. Good night, LT. Have yourself a good sleep. Honeybee is headed to bed with the wife. Early morning tomorrow. Good night. All be safe and be well. Good night, Mr. B. I will probably speak to you soon. Hike with Mike is a Gerber guy. I have Mike Ox is asking if I've ever done a cold plunge in the wintertime. I have not. My stepmother, however, does a polar bear plunge every year. I kind of wish I had the wherewithal to do that. Like I think it would do me some good. I'm talking about my soul rather than my health here. But yeah. Mike, I have one Gerber. I have an LMF2, which is essentially a workshop crowbar. I bought it before I knew the difference between a survival knife and a bushcraft knife. And a lot of people would say that the difference is purely in marketing. And there is a certain amount of truth to that. But to me, there's a blade geometry difference. And I bought that and the Bear Grylls Ultimate Fine Blade by accident on the same weekend. And they both came. The Bear Grylls I did a giveaway for, but I will say that the ergonomics, like the handle of that knife, is probably one of my favorite ones of all time. Very good in the hand. I just didn't like the blade geometry, and so I passed it on to someone who would love it. The Gerber I've kept in my workshop as a, as like a workshop knife. It's very rough and tumble. The pommel is slightly loose, which I find unforgivable for like a Marine Corps knife or a military survival knife. I don't know what's going on there, but it's still sitting in there. Ugly as hell. Not a good bushcraft solution at all. But it's a very good workshop knife. Like from everything from opening cans to just, I got to just dig in there and get something out kind of thing. David Evans says knife buying tonight. No freaking way. Thing is, if I found the little pen knife thing that I want, I would totally buy it. Absolutely. Because I'm dying to do that little mini series. Russell says, knife buying night. No. Oh my God. Everyone's getting their credit cards out. Yeah, Shawnee, I had to backtrack that sentence just a little bit too, for sure. What did I say? Nothing. What the hell? I guess Mike misses camping. You've been so devastated. Yeah, me too. Me absolutely. And as I said, like I didn't take any vacation time this year, so I feel like I deserve it. But uh-oh. David says Groman have knives on sale. The thing about Groman is the buying experience is terrible. David says he always ignores us. It hurts me deeply. What are you talking about? All right, Chris, have a good night. I love it when you and your wife drop in. It's great. And I agree with you that I'll be thinking about hike with Mike as well. It's just who knows what's going to happen there. Have you ever done the? Oh yes, I spoke about that. I'm trying to catch up. Russell says, "Are we buying knives? Yes or no?" I don't know. I'm not planning to buy anything, but if we can find a little. Man on the Street says, "Best knife ever is the." I get the feeling that what he's dropped there is a U.S. Navy part number. Christy says, I feel like he's ignoring you. No, I'm catching up. What is with you, peeps? What's with you, peeps? 2256. He always ignores us. It hurts me deeply. What? Russell says, it cuts me like a nice sharp new knife with an awesome grind, solid wood handle, and a full tang. You guys are bad influences. For sure. But we got like 3 minutes, and then I gotta go piss like you guys would not believe. So more like a dull knife through my heart, says David. What's with you guys being drama queens? What's up with that? I gotta blow my nose. I really shouldn't have another dram of this particular whiskey. I'm just gonna pour a little one. I think Russell's probably having whiskey with me tonight, right now. But he never told me what he's having. Anyways, 22:58. Destiny says, okay, bonsoir tout le monde. Thanks for the live tonight, Jess. Bisous, everyone. I will see you next week, Destiny. Next week, I may be a little late. My wife is going axe throwing with some work friends, but I'm planning to organize my knife so that my night so that I'm not late. I got to get this weakling to bed before I can live stream that night. Like, whatever. I hope to not be late. So good. Just let me go over to Groman. See what their sale is like, because I find that often they're like, this $120 knife is on sale for $98, and then as soon as you select an option, the price goes back up to like 110 or whatever. Got to give a gift. Grab a Groman. Birthdays, weddings, hostess, Christmas. Hostess. Oh well, they do kitchen knives as well, eh? So let's see what they got. I'll see what they got later. I'm not going to waste live stream time on this, but Russell is drinking Gibson's Finest Rare 12, the bottle with the handle built in. Oh, yeah, so you got the big one. Is that a plastic bottle? I said goodnight to Destiny, right? Yeah. In fact, look, we got 1 minute, so I'm going to shut her down until next week. I had a great time tonight. I hope you guys did as well. Between now and next week, everybody, please. David, you still don't have the number 1? You need that. You need that knife. That, if you're gonna buy a Groman, that's the one to buy. The number 4 is great too, I gotta say, but the number 1 is the classic. I'm a classicist. I always want the classic of something. Like, mine is basic rosewood handle because that's what it was originally. And you guys are keeping me online longer. Good night, everyone. Until next week, everybody, please be safe, be sane, be healthy, and be kind to one another. Good night, all.